Well, hello there. You are listening to Nellyville, the podcast. And I'm Black. Hello, shalom. Welcome back to another episode of Nellyville, the podcast, the place to be. We're so happy to have you here back in Nellyville once again. If this is your first time here, go ahead and subscribe. Click the little bell. If you're watching or listening on the YouTubes, come find me on my social media so you stay in the loop and know everything that is going on. Either way, welcome back, as the great Tana Manja likes to say. To the girls, the girls, the dolls, the gays, the theys, everyone. You know what I mean? So with all of that being said, let's just go ahead and hop right into it, okay? We're back once again with another episode. This is episode 4 of season 9. We are on a roll. Summer is winding down. Fall is amongst us, and I have some more great topics for you guys. So without further ado, let's hop right into it. So the first thing I want to talk about, let's talk about a little bit of podcasts, behind the scenes things that goes on, okay? Not to bore you with the science and in the engineering and the boring of it all, but it's just something that I noticed, and I'm like, no one's talking about it. Let's talk about it, so we all have a greater appreciation of what goes on behind the scenes that your favorite podcasters may or may not be going through. Okay, so I was currently watching the Shane Dawson podcast, okay? And make long story short, they were talking about, they're in a new space, right? They were filming like at their home or whatever. Anyways, this is background details that you don't really care about. I'm trying to get to the point here. So in this new space, their AC is loud. Okay, not loud, but loud in the sense of, they have to turn it off for the recordings to sound good, okay? Now, if you don't know anything about recording, be it podcast, music, whatever, most of the time, the AC has to be turned off. Now, sometimes, in some instances, depending on what you're recording, something like music, sometimes you could get away with a loud AC, and really, honestly, the AC doesn't really have to be even that loud. Okay, my AC being on, even just in everyday life where, it kind of goes unnoticed, so you really don't hear it gets picked up so easily by microphones. We have come so far in technology and in the audio world and just technology in general. There has still not been a really good way to make AC work in a great love affair with microphones. It's just going to get picked up. So most of the time when you hear recordings, be it of music, especially podcasts, because you don't have a whole lot of background stuff. That's why I say sometimes in music you can kind of get away with it because you're going to add a bunch of elements to it anyway. Sometimes the AC sound can add a little bit of warmth. Anyways, that's another story. All that to say, they're in this new space and they're having to turn the AC off. Baby, okay, so, it's summertime. They out here in the LA, it's hot, and it don't take much, even if you start out in a cool space, and then you got body heat, and there's a lot of bodies in their space. Now, their space looks fairly big, but you turn the AC off, it doesn't take much to warm up, so they got, and on any given episode, you got like 5 people. So you always have Shane, Rylan. You're gonna have the 2 producers, Spencer and Chris, right? And then Jarrett. Most of the time, those are the ones that are there. But then sometimes you're gonna have Jarrett's wife, Sandy. Okay, we racking up a lot of people. There's a lot of body heat. There's a lot of breath. There's a lot of moving. There's a lot of energy. It's going to warm up in there really quick. So they've been in their new space for the last couple of episodes. In the last episode, I didn't pay too much attention, really, but I kind of saw a little bit. But they, by the end of the episode, they were so red, so hot, so, hot. They look hot, A lot of people noticed it, and so they are, so much so that they are addressed it in this latest episode. And I'm just like, man, I don't know how y'all are gonna do it. Now, summer is winding down. It's gonna start to cool off. Not that much in LA. It's gonna cool off a little bit, but it's still gonna be hot. And I'm just like, if already it's becoming an uncomfortable thing, what is the resolve there? Now, when it's cold and you turn off the unit, you can get you some space heaters and stuff. Space heaters usually aren't, they can be they can be quiet. You might be able to get away with that, but I don't know what the longevity of that is gonna look like. You know, people gonna be in there gonna get to arguing. You know, I hope everybody in there is sure wearing their Old Spice, got a little cologne, but you know, people start stinking. People really gonna start having attitudes around here. Anyways, I'm just pointing this out because it's people out here really being uncomfortable to give you the good content. Now, let me tell you something. I used to be one of those people that would turn off the AC, you know, to get that clean recording, to make it do what it do. But, you know, but then you got to remember to turn it back on. There's been a couple times where I've turned it off, forgot to turn it back on. I've left, stayed gone for a few hours. I came back, the place is burning up. And then you got to use all the energy to heat the place back up. I mean, to cool the place back down, rather. So I don't know what the resolve was gonna be, but I imagine that that's not gonna last very long. So what's the compromise here? Do you leave the AC running and compromise a little bit of audio integrity, or do you just suffer through it, or do you find a new place to rent that you know is studio-like quality? Now, Shane, Rylan, the rest of them, y'all been in the game long enough to know that, you know, you probably maybe should have looked into more of just a dedicated recording studio space to rent that is equipped with AC cooling off and that would not compromise your audio integrity. But I think they were trying to get an office space that would, you know, be used for video and for audio. So I don't know. I imagine, baby, that ain't gonna last that long. But anyway, shout out to the people out there that's burning up hot to bring the good content. Me, you know, hey, hey, I'm not over here claiming to be tip top 100% the greatest quality in the world. But what I'm gonna give you is good quality content when it comes to the substance of what it is that I'm saying. Now, you know, if anybody out there is bothered by the AC sound in the background or the ducking, if you don't know what ducking is when there's an audio, for simple terms, there's an audio filter that runs through the audio to take out the background noise, and sometimes the audio filter works a little too hard and not only takes away the background noise, but also takes away a little pieces of your voice, which then can make your voice sound a little pinched, if that makes sense. Anyways, that's all the technical stuff. I've gone on and on. Anyway, good luck. Shout out to Shane Dawson Podcast. I hope y'all cool off. Get you some little ice cream, drink you some ice cold water. I don't know what to tell you, but good Lord, make sure you wear your deodorant. Wash all the cracks and the crevices. Now look, car alarms. In the middle of my show. Baby. Pause. And we're black. Okay, sorry, I had to take a little break because somebody out here trying to steal somebody's car. I'm just kidding. I don't know what's going on out here. But speaking of background noise, that was pretty much kind of, in a way, perfect timing. Anyways, let's get right back into it. So let's get into some hot topics, darling. Okay, speaking of being hot-seated, being in the hot seat, let's talk about Cardi B, all up in the courtroom cracking jokes. Look, the girl was not even trying to be funny. If you don't know nothing about it, I don't know how you missed it. Cardi B, you know, she got taken to court because the little security guard from back in, what was it, like 2018? There was obviously like a little verbal altercation or something between Cardi B and the security guard at this doctor's office. Cardi B was just trying to go to the doctor, you know what I'm saying? Trying to be low key, you know, because she out here celebrity. And then here goes security guard wouldn't try to record her, and you know, it turned into a thing. Fast forward, here we are. The security guard tried to sue Cardi B for 25 mil, 24 mil, whatever it was. Baby, you was out here tripping. Because what do you mean you suing somebody for 25 mil, talking about you had to get cosmetic surgery because you had a scratch on your forehead? Baby, Even if that was true, what did you do? Go to the highest bidding, the most sacred, most extreme cosmetic surgeon out here? Cause 24 mil for what? Huh? Excuse me? Cash grab. Hello. Wake that up. Anyways, if you haven't seen, I'm glad. Anyways, all that to say, Cardi B won the case, which of course, because it was bogus, right? You were security guard at a doctor's office. You should be filming nobody, even if Cardi B did jump on you or whatever. You shouldn't be. What are you doing here? You was dead wrong, lady. Anyways, Cardi B is so naturally funny. If you have not seen the clips, if you have not heard it, I was gonna play a little bit of what she was saying, but really, you got to see her, the facial expression. And what would made it even more funny is that she wasn't even trying to be funny. But oh my gosh, like that say what you want about Cardi B. Now sometimes she does some stuff, says some stuff, and I'm like, girl, please, you making it hard to be a fan, girl. Like pull it together. But damn, that woman is funny. When that, and then whoever the lawyer was, the prosecutor, the questions that were being asked, it was like, what are you talking about? Asking her why she switched her wig up so much. What did that have to do with anything? Asking her why she had her hood on at the doctor's office. And Doc Cardi B was like, I don't know. I mean, I ain't had my hair done. My makeup was done. I just woke up. It could be a lot of reasons. You know, it's just like, what they got to do with anything? Obviously, I probably got my hood and stuff on because I'm trying to get in and out of the doctor's office without being noticed because I'm pregnant with culture and I don't want nobody to know I'm pregnant with culture. Yeah, what are you talking about? I'm famous. Like, of course, I'm concealing my identity. And then I questioned her about, oh, so you called the security guard fat? And Cardi B's like, I ain't call her fat. I called her the B word. It was just like, and then she was like, so, but you said that she was big. So you think she's bigger than you? Cardi's like, yeah, I think she's bigger than me. And the lawyer's like, well, why do you think she's bigger than you? I don't think that. And Cardi B was like, well, I was 130 pounds at the time. And then she was like, so what do you mean by she's bigger than you? What do you think? And then Cardi's like, she's more developed than me. And she looked like she could secure this building. But anyways, look, if you haven't seen the little clips, I encourage you to go watch because it was, I mean, great pop culture moments, great memes have come from this, and Cardi is just a girl. But two people trying to get cash grabs off these celebrities, do better. Look, I know everybody's trying to make a come up or whatever, but come on, 25 mil, 24 mil. Huh? Trying to record her for what? What do you... Child. Anyways, so speaking of catching a case and people having altercations, did y'all hear about the woman that had the altercation with a 7-year-old in Target? Now check this out. Okay, so let me set the scene. So this woman's at Target doing her little shopping, and she hears some like commotion, like some stuff falling or whatever. And she look around, she don't see nothing. She was like, whatever. So then the commotion comes a little closer. It's this little girl walking up and down the aisles, like 7, 8 years old, knocking all the stuff off the shelf. So the woman looked and she was like, man, look, that ain't my child. That ain't none of my business. So while the woman's doing her shopping, she's ignoring this little girl. The woman she accidentally drops her money on the ground, her wallet or whatever. So here comes the little girl, ran up, and took the woman's money and tried to run off. So the woman, of course, naturally chased after the little girl. And she said, man, it took me a while to catch the little girl. Finally caught up to the little girl, kind of snatched her up. Not too much, but she trying to get her money back. So she took the money out the little girl's hand or whatever. He told her, you don't steal from people, blah, 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 right? So anyway, so the woman went on shopping like that nothing happened. So the little girl ran off to her mother talking about, she hit me, this lady hit me, she scratched me, whatever. And the mother's like, who hit you? Who did it? Who was it? I'm ghetto, y'all know. So then so here come the mother. So the woman who snatched the little girl up was just a shot back like, So the little girl was like, "It was that lady. She hit me. She scratched me. Blah blah blah." So here come the mother. "Why you touch my child? You can't put your hand on nobody's child." So the woman was like, "Well, your little girl tried to steal my money. Not to mention she's knocking all this stuff over." So anyways, so they get to arguing in the aisle. Here come the little manager. Was like, "What's going on?" Blah blah blah. And the manager told that mother was like, "Look, your little girl's already been in here causing chaos. You need to finish your shopping and leave." So the woman was trying to fight the lady. But anyways, the woman went on, she got her stuff and she left. And then the mother, left. The woman stayed in the store another 15, 20 minutes getting her stuff and whatever. When she left about that store, well, before that, when she was at the checkout, the manager was like, "Man, what happened? I'm so sorry that happened, blah, blah." And the woman was like, "Well, y'all don't have to apologize. You can't control who comes in and out of your store." So anyways, so the woman got her stuff. She go outside. "Don't you know that mother and that little girl waited for their woman to come out that store?" So they came. So they out there in the parking lot arguing. Woo woo girl. The mother done swung on the lady. So they out there fighting. The little girl jumped on the lady. So this little girl and the mother is jumping this woman in the parking lot. So the little girl bit the woman on her back. And so the woman kind of kicked the little girl off of him. Now, look, what was she supposed to do in this scenario? So anyway, so they out there fighting. The woman said the mother had a wig on, and the wig and the woman who kicked the little girl said, "Man, I really want to try and fight this woman because I had a wig on. I'm bald headed up under here, and I didn't want nobody to put me on the internet with my bald head." But anyway, she said both of them snatched each other's wigs off. She bald headed. The mother had braids, these long braids underneath the wig, and the woman was like, "I'm trying to figure out how she had all them braids up under that wig," which makes sense because the wig was all big. But anyways, she said she snatched that woman's bald, she pulled that woman's braids out. Anyways, they out there fighting, blah blah blah. And she said some man was recording. Of course, the man was recording and not helping. But anyways, that's another story. So the man did not knowing the whole story, which is like, "Man, you going to jail, you kick that little girl, you was wrong for that, blah, 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 whatever." So the woman's like, "Look, if y'all see me on here, send the video to me." And I told that man, "Don't post me," because that woman, she came for me, and that little girl came for me. But anyway, so if y'all see somebody out there fighting a mother and a 7-year-old, that's the backstory. Don't blame that lady. And also, what would y'all do? I mean, what do you do? If somebody attack you, I'm sorry, your child got to get kicked. Look, you don't hit children under any circumstances, but at the same time, I'm not above. Nobody is above hitting children. I'm sorry. There is a line. In most normal circumstances, no. Yeah, hello. What that look? That's confirmation. I don't know who blew, but yes, yes, yes. In agreement. Hello. Wake that up. Man, that's some craziness. I don't know why people feel like they just let their kids. I don't know. Well, apparently the mother sounded like she wasn't raised right. But what is going? You can't even go shopping in peace without somebody's child. But also, I think that if it was me and that happened, I'm not gonna finish shopping. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like at that point, whatever I need out of that Target, I don't want it no more. I'm leaving. I'm out of here, and I'm gonna ask for security because I'm not gonna. I think that I would feel like if somebody is that ghetto, that you know negligent, that they're letting their child behave that way, I'm not gonna put it past them that they not wait for me when I leave about the store. So I need to leave first. And even if I leave at the same time or a little bit after, I'm gonna need security to escort me out to my car. I guess that woman felt like by the time I'm shopping, they gonna be gone, and maybe she thought, well, if I wait long enough, they ain't gonna wait for me. I don't put it past people because that's too much time. That woman, that mother and that child, she could have called her goons up there. She could have called somebody up there to jump you, baby. I'm not just gonna walk out that Target comfortably thinking ain't nobody gonna come get me. Ain't nobody gonna come get me? Huh? No, man. No, 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 no. But anyways, so that's the latest on that. So watch your back, because it's not just grown people out here. It's children that's coming after you. So good luck out there. Be safe. Y'all watch your back. Speaking of family drama, Child. Child. Now, this is a developing breaking story, so hopefully I have the rest of the tea maybe next week or something. But it's getting kind of juicy. So, Shea Couleé, you know, one of the All Stars winners from Drag Race is probably where most of y'all know her from. So, Shea Couleé is a drag mother, or was a drag mother, to 3 queens. All 3 queens. Now, I don't know if she has more drag children, but I know for sure she has these 3. And all of them within the same, like all on the same day or within a couple of days of each other, all have come online and publicly denounced their affiliation with Shea Couleé and said that Shea is not the drag mother anymore. They called her narcissistic. They called her negligent. They called her some names. And one of those names was not a child of God. Okay? So I don't know how this came about, but before I go into the story, let me just say I can acknowledge that Shea is very talented. Shea it's undeniable. I mean, obviously she's a winner. So obviously, RuPaul and the judges saw something in her. So I'm not going to denounce the talent. She can sing, dance, act, the talent is there. But there's always been something about Shea there's just something about her that I'm like, something ain't right. Now, it's 2 sides to every story, and this is very developing. This is breaking news. So I don't know where all of this is coming from, but for 3 of your children to walk out on you all at the same time, I don't know, man. It's not a very strong case. So, but to be continued. You know what I'm saying? But all that to say, I'm not surprised that this is happening. So this is how I found out about it. So let's go through. I got a little literature for y'all to read. So let's pull this up. So one of the drag daughters, the first one, who's now going by Kenzie the Dragon. So they posted this to the story. Now, first of all, before I read this stuff, it really cracks me up. It really makes me side-eye people when they come online and announce stuff online and then say that they don't want to talk about it publicly. Then why say anything at all? Yeah, y'all heard the dog barking in the background? Exactly. Yeah. Okay, now be quiet, sweetie. You're messing up my podcast. Be quiet. Oh, Lord, now the dog's barking. Look, y'all just gonna have to deal with it because we on a roll. So, why come online and say something if you don't want to be asked about it, if you don't want to talk about it, if you that's why I'm like, I need to hear Shea's side of the story, because you sitting here talking about you want to talk about publicly, but you brought it to us, and now you telling us that you don't want to talk about it, huh? What? Excuse me? So Kenzie the Dragon puts this on the Instagram stories, okay? It reads as such: after 10 years of performing as firstborn of Masan Couleé, I am changing my name to Kenzie the Dragon, but I know I will always be your favorite Couleé. Aligning myself with peace, community, and love, associating me with myself, cleansing my orbit of narcissistic energy and leeches, letting misery be its own company. To all my supporters and fans that know and love my art, this is simply part of the evolution. If this is not a drag queen, it's a drag. You're gonna say all that, but you don't want nobody to talk about it, baby. Let me tell you something. I love a drag queen. So that was the first part. Kenzie goes on, for somebody who said they don't want to talk about it publicly. Oh, baby. That was just the first part. So Kenzie goes on to say, me and my sisters have always and will always be pillars of our community and representations of greatness. Every stage and room we grace, we bring joy. To all up and coming performers, be wary of grown adults trying to belittle you, who claim your successes as theirs when they were nowhere to be found for years, who align themselves with you because they see your light and want to leech from your energy. Be wary of these drag family structures. Don't let anyone impose their narcissistic parental abuse onto you. You're not a character in their show. Let's just say having 1 mil plus followers will truly have a bleep in psychosis. Have you surrounded by clout, chasing yes men who agree with everything you say? No amount of facials will get rid of the evil eye. Touch grass and call your mamas if you can. Stay mentally healthy, y'all. Baby, this is a lot. This is a lot. What happened? Huh? What's going on, Shea? Because Kenzie had a whole lot to say. What is going on here? So that's from Kenzie. Then here come Bambi on her Instagram stories, saying now she put apparently had a multiple series, but I'm just gonna read this little snippet from Bambi. And Bambi says, also to the weirdos only on here for tea, unless we are friends, you won't be getting any from me, so you can stop watching my stories. Y'all have had muted for years. LOL. It's okay, it's only peace and love over here. Girl, what? So okay, you open up the can of worms. You put your dirty laundry out there, and then you're gonna tell people not to watch the story. Like, which one do you want? Like, huh? So that was Bambi that said that, and then here goes Couleé Park, the third daughter. As you can see, some changes have been made. Now it's too much to get into at once, so when the time is right, you'll be informed in my own words. But I will clarify a few things. My sisters are still my sisters. The bond we share is too tight to break. Nothing has changed between us as we're still a unit. I will now like to be referred to by my original last name, Park. And no, I will not tell you what happened until I am ready to tell it. This is not gossip for you to approach me with in hopes for some quick tea. Any questions about this, without me bringing it up myself, will result in a halted conversation. Unlike someone else in this situation, I choose to be a little more classy in this matter, and I will tell my story when I'm ready and it's not just words on a screen. But Reddit lovers, if you're watching, I'll feed you one piece. Don't believe everything you see on TV. Remember, I've been behind that curtain for years. Love you all, and I hope this doesn't change any relationships I've built with you over the years. Talk to you soon, Couleé Park. Baby, what are we doing? Now, with all of this little coded cryptic language on the Instagram stories, I'm inclined to believe Shea Couleé's side of the story, and I ain't even heard it yet. Now, there's always, two sides to every story, and the truth usually lies somewhere in the middle. I think that these girls probably have, whatever happened, I believe, yeah, I could see it because I feel that from Shea, which is funny because you know what, I think I don't really consume a lot of Shea content. I appreciate her craft when I come across it, when it pops up on my feed. She did well on Drag Race and stuff like that, but I don't go out of my way to seek her out. But by way of just me consuming a lot of drag, and especially Bob and Monet, I think and I'm black. I think that is Shea Couleé's thing that I've kind of adopted by way of Bob and Monet. But anyways, all that to say, I can't wait to see how this develops. But I've noticed a lot recently, a lot of drag children, a lot of drag families are breaking up. Earlier this summer we had Arietti and Irene. They had that little situation go on. It's a lot of families breaking up, y'all. Where's the drag community? Where is the motherly love, Mistress and the twins? They had their following out, so now that the drag daughters again. What is going on, Mary? what is going on in the drag community? But I just, it tickles me that people put all these little cryptic messages online just to tell people that, they don't want to talk about it. Now, Shea has made like some cryptic messages herself, kind of, I guess, in response to this. She's posted like some little poems or, some quotes and stuff that, obviously it's directed towards us, but nobody's really come out and said exactly what has happened. But we will be watching and we will be tracking. And then, of course, here come Monet being all shady talking about. May- Monet posted on Twitter/X this morning something about, well, everything's good over here with me and Corey King. Sorry to the drag families having something shady and being funny. I'm like, Monet, Monet, you shady little queen. But anyways, I know it's probably all in good fun and it's jokes. It's just jokes. But yeah, but all jokes aside, drag family and found family in the queer community it's very important. And it's a lot of these people, be it drag or just queer found families, ballroom houses or whatever, a lot of times these are, it's not all the time, but a lot of times it can be the only family a person has. And from, what I've noticed and what I've gathered, it is a big part of the tradition of drag. So, things change and things evolve, but I do have a little bit of it is kind of a somber moment when you see that loving tradition, that passing down of techniques and love and community, it's shifting, it's changed, and it's not the same anymore. And to see people take it for granted, or on the other side of that, people just being so frivolous with it, being so quick to just name anybody their drag daughter or their drag mother. It used to have some weight to it. It used to mean something, and because people are just so frivolous and just so quick to just call anybody their drag mother or drag daughter, it shows when you do it for the wrong reasons, or for vanity, or just to say you have a drag mom, or just say you have some drag kids. It's not built on nothing. There's no substance. There's no, you can't be doing that. You got to be really careful who you affiliate yourself with, because when you have these drag families or a ballroom house and you have these house mothers and you have these kids or whatever, like whatever, if you affiliate with somebody, whatever they do, you're automatically going to be affiliated with. So you got to have a really tight knit community there. But anyways, I found it all very interesting. Baby, for this to be the beginning, baby, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. It's going to be juicy. But my predictions, now hopefully it don't get too ugly, because I don't like bringing a queen down, especially a black queen. Hopefully the Shea Couleé, what comes out about her, hopefully it ain't nothing too ugly. But I I think there is gonna be a little bit of a face crack. And I'm not gonna be surprised. I'm not. I'm just not. I hope it's not nothing like, oh my gosh, I can't believe Shea did that. But you know, but also to those girls, that put her on blast, it's giving entitlement. If your drag mother or your drag kids find success and blow up, you're not entitled to their success. And if they don't share those accomplishments with you the way that you feel like they should, don't be so entitled. I mean, you have your own career, and in the same breath, if you're somebody's mother, you don't get to stand up and be like, yeah, that's my child, and you ain't did nothing to aid in their development of their drag career. That would be like if Honey Davenport, who is Monet's for real drag mother, that would be like if all of a sudden Honey stood up and was like, yeah, Monet, that's my child, and I boop 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 boop. No, baby, like, yeah, yeah, Honey is Monet's drag mother, but there really wasn't a whole lot of mothering. It wasn't like shade. It just, for real, Bob is more like Monet's drag mother. So they're more like Drake's sisters, but kind of like a mom, kind of like an adopted mom. But yeah, not to say that Monet owes her success to Bob. I'm not saying that, but definitely, if anybody's gonna would have been more of that mother role, is gonna be Peppermint and Bob. Like, let's just, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's just be honest. But anyways, that's all the tea that I have for you guys today. I hope that you enjoyed. Let me know what you think about the little topics today. What you think? What do y'all think Shea did? What you think she did, girl? Anyways, that's all I have for y'all today. Y'all stay easy, stay cool, turn on your little AC. Okay, love you so much. Okay, bye.